Welcome to the CWB Association Welding Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Roy. Let's flip up the lid and spark some conversation.
Welcome to the CWB Association Welding Podcast. We are proud to continue our collaboration with Compétences Canada on this special podcast series where we will be highlighting the training, the passion, the dedication behind the road to Team Canada from the competitors, trainers, experts, and everyone involved as they prepare to head to WorldSkills competition in Shanghai, China. Today will be an exciting conversation as we discuss the carpentry trade with Team Canada competitor Logan Peters and national expert Paul Bettio. Did I say that right, Paul?
You sure did, Kevin. Nice work.
Nailed it. So, okay, we're starting off strong. So, Logan, for the listeners meeting you for the first time, what interested you in the carpentry trade?
Well, I'll give you the same answer I give everybody. It started when I was in grade 7, and I had a really good shop teacher, and he made it really enjoyable for me. And soon enough, I began to, every time I built something, I could look at it, and it's nice to be able to look at something you did and say, I built that, and see the product of your work. So that's kind of how it all started.
Oh, very cool. That's kind of where my love for welding started too, is in high school in grade 10 welding. Logan, do you remember like a project that you built or something that said, you know what, like I am good at this. This is going to be my trade?
That moment for me was really when I was in grade 12, I competed in high school Carpentry Skills Canada, and I got first place in provincials. And I was sitting there at the awards ceremony. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should pursue this. And so here we are today.
So it was really your I guess your love for skills or skills compétences or the competition that kind of led you to think this trade is for me.
Yeah, that was a big push for me.
So now that you are doing this and you're competing, do you think you're going to keep going? This is going to be your trade for the rest of your life, or what are you planning?
Absolutely, yeah. Right now, I plan to keep doing what I'm doing. I like building houses. It's nice to look back at the end of the day or the week or the month and say, a few months ago there was an empty field there, and now there's a house. So that's the best part of it.
That's what makes tradespeople so proud, right?
You betcha.
So, Paul, for the listeners that don't know you, how long have you been a carpentry instructor?
This is year 17 at Nate. So 17 years working at the college. And, was always a teacher in the field anyways, leading up to it. So this was a calling.
Yeah. So what made you decide to go into being an instructor? Did you work in the field beforehand?
I did. I worked in the field for a long time. My first ticket was a welding ticket, believe it or not.
Nice.
And I ended up changing to carpentry because some of the guys I worked with, I looked at and said, boy, looked pretty rough. But they were guys that would never wear respirators. They'd smoke while they welded. None of the safety stuff, right? So I just felt like I needed a new path. So I took on carpentry, worked in the field for a number of years. And then when I was in school, I kind of admired the instructors and what they did and kind of the lifestyle they were able to live, and thought that maybe one day it was something I wanted to pursue. So here we are today, 17 years of teaching.
Wow. So what keeps you motivated to teach?
The students.
Yeah.
Keep me motivated, right? I mean, I teach all 4 years of the carpentry apprenticeship, and I really, really love seeing the development of students coming in first year and leaving us in fourth year. Seeing the growth in these students and seeing the love for the actual trade itself some of these people, when they came in, they never thought that they'd ever be able to do anything like this. And then, 4 years later, here they are with a ticket in hand, and just so proud of where they gotten, and just really proud of the accomplishments that they've achieved, right? So it's very rewarding position, and that's what motivates me.
Oh, definitely. You're shaping them into their career, and you can see it's just like being a tradesperson. You're still a tradesperson. You're seeing your work, what you've built, basically.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
So, Paul, what made you get involved with Skills Compétences Canada then?
So when I first started at Nate, my boss actually had been involved with Skills for a number of years up to that point. And the first year that I started, he asked me if I would be interested in kind of jumping on board and helping with the provincial skills committee. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. And it just built from there. I did a number of years just on the provincial committee, probably about 4 or 5 years, and then got involved judging with the national committee with Skills Canada. And then a position opened up as the Alberta rep for the National Technical Committee for Skills Canada, and I applied, and I've been in that position ever since. So it's been about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years I've been on the national committee as well. And
Very cool.
yeah, it's just, again, it's a very rewarding position. I've been able to give back to all these young carpenters that are coming up, and give them something to kind of strive to reach, right? To give them the way I look at skills is it's the ability to, I call it a live resume for these guys, right? Because they're really showcasing their abilities, their skills to the world. So, it's pretty cool.
Oh, very true. Whenever I see skills competitor on a resume, I put that to the forefront, because I already know, like, there's a passion, there's a drive, and there's obviously some skill behind them.
Absolutely. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. So Logan, what was going through your mind when you found out that you were going to rep Team Canada at WorldSkills in Shanghai?
Well, I see Paul smiling already. He knows exactly what I'm going to say. I get home from work one day, middle of summer, done with life because it was a hard day of work, and and I get a phone call from the dean from the college, and he's like, "You want to go to Shanghai, Logan?" I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about, man? Like, what is going on?" And he's like, "Well, they added carpentry to Worlds, and you're the guy." And I was like, "Oh." I was just in shock, really. I
So
remember at Nationals, at the end of the closing ceremonies last year, they played a little video, the intro to WorldSkills Shanghai, and I just remember I was so happy with myself, with where I finished, and I didn't pay much attention to it because it was never on the agenda, because carpentry was never a part of Worlds for me. So I was just shocked because it was never supposed to happen. Never thought much of it, and then all of a sudden we're getting 100 emails every week telling us what's going on. So yeah,
Man, that's got to feel pretty crazy.
yeah, it was pretty cool, to say the least.
Still in shock.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this is a question for both of you. So carpentry, was it part of WorldSkills before? Like, Canada hasn't competed in carpentry for a very long time. So how come that is?
Okay, so 2015, Canada pulled out of the carpentry competition at Worlds for the reason that it's not specific to the type of carpentry we do here in North America. Their carpentry competition falls under some European standards, ways that they build in France and Germany and Korea. They use a type of drawing called stereotomy, which is we're we're going through a very steep learning curve right now, trying to learn how to read these prints and how to construct things from these drawings. And because of that, Canada didn't really have a chance to, to medal or get on the podium. And because it cost a lot of money to send a competitor to these competitions, they just didn't feel there was value in it. And so they had pulled out of the competition after 2015. So I fought for the last 3 years to try to get us back into the Worlds with the help of Skills Alberta. And it just so happened in June, I got a phone call from Skills Alberta saying, hey, guess what? We're back in. And it's due to the fact that there's a whole bunch of countries trying to change the model to reflect more of what carpentry is in other countries, not just those few European countries. And so they just felt like, there's an opportunity here for Canada to voice, and maybe we can change the way things are done, and we can make this competition more appealing to countries from around the world to send carpenters. Because to be honest with you, the numbers have been down the past 3 or 4 years. So
yeah. Well, that's good to know. And I thought it was because Logan's such an awesome competitor. They just like, let's put this back in there.
Well, that was a big part of it for sure. Absolutely.
So Logan, what does a week in your life look like right now as a WorldSkills competitor?
So right now, it's a little bit slower than it's about to be in the next few months, but it's Monday through Thursday. I'm going to work every day, regular job stuff, and then it's Friday, Saturday, and then even sometimes in the evening, I'm working on drawings or looking at prints or doing something. And then Friday, Saturday, I make the trip to the college in Vermilion there, Lakeland College, and I spend a couple days with Dave, or my trainer there. So starting to ramp up here now that we're getting a little bit closer.
Yeah. What kind of, you mentioned prints. What other kind of stuff do you work on when you go to the college? Are you actually building stuff?
Yeah. So there's kind of 2 sections in our Worlds project. The first one is more of a timber frame type deal. So I'm building small projects, big projects, especially because even at work, I'm not really doing much timber framing, right? It's more stick framing, that type of deal. So we're working on timber frame joints and techniques and hand skills. And then we're also getting into that stereotomy. So that's looking over prints, full scale drawings. So what you do is you look at the print, figure out what you want. You got to draw a series of 2D drawings in full scale. And then what you have to do is sort of combine those 2D drawings together. And from that, you can lay your workpiece or your piece of wood on those drawings, mark it out from there, and then get cutting. So there's kind of a lot going on with that. And it's definitely a steep learning curve, but we're getting there. So
yeah, it sounds like a bit of a challenge. Like you have to break down a set of prints to just draw your own prints. So it's and then you got to put them back together. If only they gave you like a 3D rendering or something.
that would definitely help a little bit, but we're making it work here. So
we're learning, yeah, and print reading is very important, right? I've been at some of these competitions, and you could be the best tradesperson out there, and you make a mistake on your print, and it could cost you major points.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Paul, being the Team Canada expert for carpentry, what does that role involve for you behind the scenes?
A lot. Trying to make sure that, well, of course, I understand the concepts behind all of this, because when we get to Shanghai, Logan and I are going to be the ones communicating together when we're there, but also making sure that we're following a specific training plan. We're meeting goals. So we're trying to set goals for David and Logan to try to meet each week, each month, that type of stuff. Also making sure that Logan is lined up with the tools that he requires to, get his training to where it needs to be. We actually had a great contact here just recently. DeWalt stepped forward and donated all the tools that he's going to use in Shanghai, power tools and all, for him to
Wow.
set up in his shop and train with now. So that's a plus, because knowing your tools before you get there is a huge benefit, right? So
Yeah, that is amazing of DeWalt. Shout out DeWalt.
absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of tools, and we'll get back on your role, but do you have to bring your own tools to this competition?
Uh, the hand tools and stuff, like he'll bring that type of stuff, but all the power tools will be supplied at the competition. So we just have to make sure that we have all our chisels and hammers and clamps and all those types of things to bring over there, um, and then the rest gets supplied when we get over there. So
Very cool. So what other kind of things do you do behind the scenes beside, scheduling and getting sponsors?
yeah, so that's the stuff I would do with Logan and David. Then I have the role of representing our country. So uh, as an expert, my job is to make sure that we come up with a fair project, that we have a fair um, rubric for scoring, to make sure that everything is ready for these competitors to compete fairly at the competition. So I'm constantly in contact with other experts from around the world. We have a discussion forum that we are constantly on, communicating back and forth, and just trying to make sure that we have everything prepared for these competitors when they get there to train, and make sure that project is a fair project for everyone. So I guess I'm kind of the advocate for Canada to make sure that we agree with the direction and the path that they are taking for these guys when they get there.
Oh, that makes sense. You got to set a level playing field if this is going to be really to find out who is the best competitor.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, Logan, what does it mean to you to be helping put Canadian carpentry back on the map, like internationally?
Well, obviously it's huge, right? Like to be, we're obviously such a major trade and such a major part of construction what goes on. And it was a little disappointing that we weren't out there representing what we have. So it's pretty cool to be able to be a part of putting us back on the map here. And it's it's nice to know that you're helping out with that, and look forward to, even helping out the next guy so we can just get better and better and become competitive again.
That's very true. So, how do you balance the pressure of the competition while still like enjoying yourself?
To be honest, that's still a work in progress here. That's that's also another part of the training actually that gets left behind a little bit, is the mental side of it, because it's not just, obviously a huge part of it is what you can do, but the other side is how can you carry yourself through it all, right? Can you keep it together, and say something was to go wrong, can you bounce back from that? And that's another thing we got to work on here, is staying cool through it all. So
which is not often easy to do. Are you more of a relaxed kind of guy, or are you're flying off the wall most of the time?
I'm flying off the wall, man. I won't
I see. As soon as
sugarcoat
I
it
asked
there.
that question, yeah, Paul's just shaking his head, smiling. Yeah.
Yeah, anybody who's been there knows. You get me I'm competitive too, right? I've played sports all my life. So when I'm in there, it's not exactly a chill experience.
Yeah, we're throwing hammers.
Hopefully it doesn't get to that point, but hey, you never know.
Yeah. So you said this is something that kind of gets left behind, and you're training towards that. What kind of training is there? Like, how do you practice for that?
That's a good question actually. It's one of the it's definitely tougher to work on that type of stuff, but it's, you know, for example, to provincial competition, it's good to actually be there in that environment because I had something go wrong. Not a huge problem, but something you have to work through, and it's really just repetition. So this is what wrong, this is what went wrong, this is what I got to do to fix it, and it's going through those situations that helps a lot.
No, absolutely. If it comes easy every time, then you think you're, the hottest guy out there. Then you have that one mistake and like your whole body shuts down. You get those weird feelings in your stomach. You start sweating, and then you don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want that to happen over there, right? So something we got to work out beforehand.
We've
Yeah.
been pretty lucky, Kevin. We've been hooked up with the Canadian Sport Institute, and they've actually been working with us with some mental training. So we're trying to take some of those tools to work with Logan to kind of get his mind into a place where, when things do get tough, he'll be able to kind of grab onto it and make that change. And then us as the kind of the support for him, we're learning the tools that we can utilize to recognize when we see something's in Logan's head, and we can try to kind of ease his mind for him or with him and walk him through the process. So it's been pretty cool working with them.
That's actually really amazing because the mental side of things, and you touched on it, Logan, like people don't really consider it. They don't really think about it. They just focus on the task at hand, right? But mental health is a huge thing.
Absolutely, it is.
Yep. So, Paul, behind the medals, behind the rankings, behind, putting carpentry back on the map, what is life like for a skills competitor? Like what kind of skills do they gain from this?
Oh, they gain a lot of valuable skills. They gain the skills to be able to work under pressure, right? That's a huge one because we all know, for all of us that have been part of skills, we've seen that in these competitions, you have to work fast and you have to work under pressure. There's a lot of eyes on you at these competitions, thousands of people watching you. You have to learn how to be able to control your mind from the outside of what you're doing as well. So there are mental skills that do come into play that they learn during their training process as well. But it's just the ability for these carpenters to say, I can do this, because any of us that work in trades know that trades are always high pressure and you have to be able to deal with that pressure. And so this gives them a lot of quality tools to be able to do anything, and when they get into this competition mode and they get through the project and they finish off, whether they medal or not, they're all winners. They all realize that they can do something when they put their minds to it. And that to me is just a really cool tool just to use in life, right? So being able to being able to have confidence in yourself is a pretty amazing trait to be able to work in the trade. So
Absolutely. So Logan, how long have you been competing at this?
So my first competition was in grade 11, so that would have been one of those virtual ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing this. That would make this 5 years now.
Wow, that's commitment.
Yeah, yeah. No, it uh, turned out good for me, so I figured I should keep doing it.
So Logan, looking ahead, after you win gold at Worlds, what are you going to do?
Well, if I won golds at Worlds, I don't know, man. I might just go on a vacation. You know, I don't know. That'd be pretty cool, but get back to it, man. Like, I don't know, not much else to say, really. It's well, you'd you'd thank all the people that helped you get there for starters. You know, Paul and Dave for sure. They're the they're the big ones that helped me get through it. But you know, everybody behind the scenes. You know, dean of the college itself, everybody, the sponsors. You know, the Skills Canada people. Like there are so many people that have their hands all over this competition and helping everybody get through it and to it. And first thing you got to do is thank everybody for the help, because obviously there's no way you're doing this as a one-man show. So yeah, that's the biggest thing right there, is appreciating what it
Give
takes to
thanks
get you
to the
there.
team. Yeah, because it takes a team. It takes a huge support system to make this happen.
Absolutely, yes.
And then right after that, you're going to get right back to swinging hammers and building houses.
Yeah, we got a pretty busy summer ahead of us, so in between training, we're going to be going hard there. So
Awesome. So before we wrap up here, guys, is there a final thought or a story you want to leave us with, or a piece of advice that you have for the next generation out there?
sure, I'll start this, Logan. So just for anybody that feels the need to challenge themselves, is unsure of what their capabilities are, Skills is a great platform for that. Um, there's a lot of great people behind the scenes that are willing to put their time forward to try to help these people achieve higher goals in life. And so if you are somebody, and we'll use that term, a go-getter, that wants to achieve higher levels in your trade, then Skills is a great platform to do that. So Skills is something you're interested in, but you're unsure if you have the ability to do it. Take the jump, give it a shot, because you never know unless you put your foot forward, and you might surprise yourself on your abilities and what you can achieve. So
and I was sort of going to say something along the lines of what Paul did there. If you ever get the opportunity to participate in Skills, I really hope you say yes, because, you know, me, my first time, I'll do this virtual competition, whatever. But, I really enjoyed it, and I went back a second time. And it turned out great. And, a few years down the road, here we are, you know. So give it a try, and you're not going to regret it, is the biggest thing. Nothing else, you'll learn something and you'll have a good time. So that's the biggest thing for me, is don't pass it up.
Right on. Well, thank you very much for tuning into the CWB Association Welding podcast and our special series with in collaboration with Skills Compétences Canada. We wish Team Canada all the best. and we'll be cheering you guys on. And Logan, good luck. You're going to get gold, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.